Outside today,
the Rose Garden. Very special.
Plenty sunny, but the cloud of the Russia investigation has the president stewing, sarcastically tweeting about a New York Times story that reportedly reveals questions the special counsel wants to ask him. He writes, "So disgraceful that the questions concerning the Russian witch hunt were leaked to the media. No questions on collusion. But 13 of the 49 questions published by the paper do deal with collusion."
Why is he mischaracterizing these reports?
Once again, I'm not going to get into the back and forth on matters involving the special counsel.
The president's personal attorney is declining to comment on the list of questions, which the Times says was provided to them by someone outside the president's legal team. One especially intriguing inquiry, according to experts, asks about potential ties to the Kremlin. Quote, "What knowledge did you have of any outreach by your campaign, including by Paul Manafort, to Russia about potential assistance to the campaign?" Other questions revolve around potential obstruction of justice as it relates to the firing of James Comey, including one on what the president said to Lester a year ago.
I was going to fire Comey, knowing there was no good time to do it. And in fact, when I decided to just do it, I said to myself, I said, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story.
These are not softball topics. And what the Mueller team wants to do is frame for the president's lawyers the topics they want to cover. But if there are surprise or difficult questions, I can assure you that the Mueller investigative team is going to save that for an actual interview.
And now tonight, the man overseeing that special counsel investigation, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, is out with some surprisingly strong pushback against some conservatives in Congress floating the possibility of seeking his impeachment. Rosenstein says the Department of Justice is not going to be extorted.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.